Hello everybody, welcome to another review. So I'm going to be reviewing the brand new album by TX2. This is End of Us. So I still have a bit of a weird cough from this cold I've had, and I still feel a bit bunged up, so I do apologise if I sound off. And I am also quite a bit behind. I've got a lot of reviews to come out, so if I've pumped a lot of videos out in short time, it's because of I need to get these reviews done. So I made this one quick so I can finally catch up, because I'm not doing very good with the uploads. So we got the new one by TX2. Honestly, TX2 has just been one of the most annoying musicians I've seen in the kind of rock community and rock scene. This guy just basically built up his reputation through being very cringy and getting a lot of negative rep. There's still people that do like the guy, and I'm sure he's a decent person from some of the stuff I've seen, but I've just seen controversy, and I think some of it is also quite I've just seen some stuff that makes me question some things. I don't know, again, if he's actually been involved with anything serious or bad that makes him a worse person, but from what I've seen, I just think he's a very annoying individual, and one I just don't really care for the music he creates. TX2's new album here, I want to give it the benefit of the doubt, kind of go into it blind, because all I've heard is that his music's not very good, and all I've listened to is the singles that I have talked about on my channel, which I unfortunately didn't like, but you know, I could always be impressed with a record release like this. And going into it, about, how long is it? 38 minutes, 38 seconds. I found it to be one of the worst things I've listened to in a while. Oh god, it's literally comes down to a couple of elements that really make this a hard listen for me. One, the voice. I just feel like TX2 has this very whiny, annoying voice wherever he's talking, whenever he's singing, and it's very noticeable in tracks like Nice Guy, which kind of feels like a Falling in Reverse Tom McDonald fan fest when it comes to how awful it wants to be. And just like Falling in Reverse, it's a song about him being, you know, a type of guy. You have Falling in Reverse talking about being a bad guy, and that's one of the worst songs on Popular Monster. Now, 2 years later, we have TX2 talking about being a nice guy, and it's one of the worst songs from this album. The lyrics on this are abysmal. I mean, you start off with, "I'm not a man whore, it's just a habit. You'll probably do the same, but you're not a bad bitch," which I think lyrically is just fucking stupid. This whole track lyrically is stupid. I don't understand what this was going for. It just kind of comes off as just one of the most insanely dumbfounded things I've listened to, and the chorus is just really bad. Going, "But I swear, I'm a nice guy. He's a really, really, really nice guy." It's like, I don't understand who could listen to this unironically and think, "Yo, that's sick, dude." And Eco, man, he delivers. Like, he's just such a really good rapper. He just makes this cool rock sound go great. You got some cool uncleans. It's just a cool. No, it's not cool. It just kind of feels like it's an imitation of someone trying to be cool. And imitation is kind of one of another problem I have with this. It kind of presents itself to be this kind of like very, I guess, I am random emo feel. It just feels like the guy's trying to be like an imitation of your emo scene kid, basically someone who's trying to like go, "Oh yeah, I was around during the My Chemical Romance era, this is me, I'm a MySpace kid," and it doesn't really feel genuine. It just kind of feels like something that's very much thrown in and forced just for attention and popularity, because there is not really any true essence from writing lyrics like Nice Guy that sticks out to me and makes me think, "Oh right, this is generally an emo band." It just kind of feels like someone who's just spouting a lot of stuff out into the void and making it into a track, and I just don't understand how you can really get into TX2 with writing like that. Nice Guy is one of the worst songs I think I've ever listened to in a very long time, and I'd be better off knowing it never existed, to be honest. The only song I think actually somewhat got me interested was Feed, the opening track. Death by Romy is actually not a bad collab with this one. I feel like they generally do most of the heavy lifting to make this song, I guess, somewhat quality, I guess. There's some quality because of the feature. I feel like that's probably the same thing with the other features, but the songs I don't care for. Whereas Feed has potential to be something interesting. It kind of reminds me of what Chatter, this very new anonymous project that's been coming out recently. It kind of reminds me of their sound a little bit. And yeah, I don't think it's the worst sound. It's not for me, but if they're gonna at least try and do an emo sound like that, it'd probably be this way. But I think even this song's dragged down by TX2 as well, because Jesus, it's very rough around the ears. This whole record is very rough around the ears, and as I mentioned, the voice is annoying, and it just tries to present itself like it's an emo album, but it's not. It just kind of comes off as very like tacky, annoying, alternative, edgy rock record, and I don't care for in the slightest. And another problem I have with it is lyrics. As I talked about Nice Guy has some of the worst lyrics. It doesn't really get any better from there. A lot of the lyrics just, especially if it's rapping as well, or trying to give off that bit more of that pop punk sound in some of the songs, it doesn't work, and it is a really hard struggle to sit through. From annoying vocals to that, it's not great. And unfortunately, another point that also brings us down is instrumentals as well. It isn't very good. I'm not really a big fan of the electronics elements they put into tracks like Feed, even though it's one of the better tracks. This is also another thing that brings this one down from being somewhat a good song to just in my eyes. There's a lot of annoying moments where I just think instrumentals don't need to do what they do. Breakdowns feel very forced and very crap, and the uncleans are god awful, and I really wish there wasn't any, or at least I wish the clean vocals were better and there wasn't any uncleans would be a better point of that. There's like one interlude on here and then one kind of like interlude-y type song, which I just don't really care for. The second half gives you 3 features. You've got Magnolia Park, Ice Nine Kills, and Black Veil Brides. 3 big names, don't mind you. Magnolia Park, smallest of the 3, still quite a sort of well-known name. I've listened to them, I've reviewed them. Murder Scene wasn't very good. I just don't think they had any saving grace for it. Mad had Ice Nine Kills, this was the big one, the one that got TX2 even more attention, one of their biggest songs. It was so annoying. I just didn't understand any appeal to it, and I think Ice Nine Kills was the only reason that this had any attention to it, because of Ice Nine Kills being quite a popular band and a relevant one with the movie cinematic feel that they are putting into their songs. And then End of Us with Black Veil Brides, I reviewed this one, and even Black Veil Brides couldn't save it because the writing was god awful with this one. It's just TX2 kind of manages to everything he touches here turn it into shit, and I really don't understand who's buying into this. It's kind of one of those emo projects that isn't emo, but it tries to so hard to convince you it is, and I just find it a really hard listen. There are definitely some emo kids, some hard rock kids, and pop punk kids, whatever genres this one dabbles in, that will love this, but as of what I see and as I heard, this is my first TX2 experience, and probably my last, because this is absolutely god awful. Hands down one of the worst albums I've heard in a long time, and yeah, I think we kind of know where this one's going. This is going to be my first 0 of the year, and I hope you enjoy. Thanks so much for watching, and see you in the next video.